Greetings everyone, what the hell is up? Welcome Juan, welcome Donut Domination, the Vegan Metalhead, sweet, that is pretty similar. Dark Blonde Vegan, and the Vegan Metalhead, is that a My Little Pony icon? That's that's pretty funny. What the hell's up everyone? We're gonna go ahead today and we're going to learn about the secrets of jackfruit. So let me go ahead and grab the camera and see what ingredients we have today. Welcome back to the second live stream on YouTube. So of course, if we're going to be making jackfruit, we're gonna have jackfruit. I get the jackfruit canned in brine, young green jackfruit in brine. It doesn't really matter the brand. I've tried this brand, there's basically only 2 or 3 brands that you're gonna find in almost every Asian store in existence. And we're gonna talk about this because this is gonna be a complicated subject. We've got, it's not complicated, just you just need to know a few things. We've got some garlic powder, we got some onion powder, we got some adobo, we have some pepper, some soy sauce, some Italian seasoning, some cumin, some Creole seasoning, this sazon Goya, just basically some stuff to make a taco seasoning. Got some green onions, some avocado, some tostada shells, cilantro. Over here we have a pan that we're gonna go ahead and start heating up. And over here we have some water that is heating up and will be boiling. All right, let's get that back in focus. So, how's it going, Karen? Hope you're doing well. Awesome. I'm not, Christina says, I'm not vegan, but hi. Yes, actually, I think most of the people on the YouTube and on the Facebook, I would say probably about half are not vegan, and that's the whole damn point. I mean, I could be teaching anyone how to cook good food, but if you're not vegan, even better. Come on in, check this stuff out. So we've got this can of young green jackfruit and brine. Now, contrary to what many internet videos will say, go ahead and get that in focus. You can't just open this up, dump out the water, and start cooking with it. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. It tastes like tangy, weird stuff, and it's overall just really bad. So the whole concept behind making jackfruit is we have to make it a neutral taste first. So first and foremost, before we do anything else with it, we have to make it a really neutral taste. Now, I still recommend buying the canned young green jackfruit and brine, largely because, one, it's fairly cheap. This is only about $1.50 in the United States. I've seen it all over the world. I've seen it in Europe. I've seen it in Australia. Haven't been, I guess, all over the world, but I've seen it in parts of the world. In many Asian stores in many different parts of the world are going to be almost identical for some reason. We're going to, but in order to make this a really neutral taste, we're going to open up the can, we're going to dump out the water that's in the brine in the can, and we're going to boil it for about an hour, and then we're going to dump the water out, and then we're going to boil it again for about an hour, roughly, and then dump the water out again, and then you can use it. So some of y'all might be thinking, what the hell, that's not worth it. This is a bunch of crap. What you can do though is make many cans at a time, and you can freeze it. And basically it takes almost no work in the preparation stage, but it takes a little bit of time. So just whenever you happen to be home doing nothing, just boil a pot of water. We're gonna go ahead and open up this can right now. And just boil a pot of water and just make it happen. Just boil this thing and then dump the water, and then you're gonna boil it again, and then dump the water again. And then you have this awesome jackfruit to use. So I'm just gonna dump the water in here because I'm not near a sink. Get that out, get the can water out. Oops, don't wanna lose the jackfruit. So dump all that brine water out. And let me move this other camera a little closer here so you can see. Karen says, checked out Merker from the last time, and she liked it. That's awesome. And says, damn, just more something about the nutritional value from boiling and cooking. So, nutritional value. I'm not sure what the boiling and cooking is going to do with the nutritional value. Quite honestly, you want to make this really neutral tasting to begin with. And as far as nutritional value, I'm not even sure what the nutritional value in general in jackfruit is. Although I will say that it's really satisfying. Like, you get pretty full by when you eat it pretty quickly. Like, it's very satisfying to eat. It's very kind of meaty texture. And this is, of course, the young, unripe jackfruit. The ripe jackfruit tastes like a fruit. So that's, if you want to add more nutritional value, then eat it with other vegetables and eat it with other different things. But it's, the nutritional value of it, I'm sure, is fine because I'm not dead. And let me go ahead and dump the rest of this other can out. Not being dead doesn't make something nutritious. I mean, you can eat a candy bar and not be dead, and it's got the nutritional value of sugar, but I don't know. I'll just assume that it's fine right now, and you all can tell me later if jackfruit has all the nutritional value or none of the nutritional value. I just eat. I eat a wide variety of foods. I exercise, and it's good. This is perfect. Greetings from Germany. Awesome. Gothic Society clan. If you're going to be at Wacken Open Air in early August, then I'll see you there in Germany. Love the international around here. Yeah, that is really cool. It's people from all over the world. And that's one of the other cool things about getting the canned jackfruit is that, at least in many parts of the world that I've been, the Asian stores are incredibly similar. And you'll find these in the Asian stores about $1.50 for a can. If you get whole jackfruits, you can see this is boiling, right? Or this is heating up right here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll put a lid on it for now, and then I'll uncover it when it starts boiling. If you use whole jackfruits, for one, you need unripe jackfruit for the vegan meat substitute. And for two, you're gonna have to buy a giant jackfruit. You're gonna have to spend all the time cutting it open, kind of picking it apart, and then freezing it yourself or canning it yourself or doing whatever. You might find it ridiculously expensive, just too time consuming. And this requires almost no work. These cans are only about $1.50 each, and I would say each can, if you're gonna make it into like either barbecue jackfruit sandwiches or like a jackfruit chicken salad sandwich, then each can makes about 2 large sandwiches, or like 2 meal-sized sandwiches. Oh, watching from Portugal, been a viewer for years, glad to see you're still around. Did I just have the sound off for a while? Hopefully that did. If I do, please let me know in the comments that the sound is off. All right, so we've got that heating up and boiling. Now we're not going to sit here for 2 hours while this boils, and then I dump the water, and then it boils again, and then I dump the water again. I did that the other night. So again, that's really good thing about jackfruit is you can do this one night with 6 cans worth, and then just freeze them, and then they freeze perfectly. And then you can thaw it out, and then just either cook it in many different ways. There's 3 main ways that I like to do jackfruit, mostly with like a barbecue jackfruit, jackfruit tacos, or like a jackfruit chicken salad sandwich. And we're gonna make some jackfruit tacos today because it's quick and easy. Darrow says, my 3rd Vakken this year. That's awesome. Unrelated question, what gear do you use for VSTs? Anything that stands out? So today's gonna be kind of a general Q&A. Last time we focused on how to do veganism cheaply, and I realized that to do veganism cheaply, it's not just 1 or 2 things, it's kind of everything. So this is part of doing veganism cheaply. These cans right here, I mean, they're only $1.50 each, and you're gonna see that they make quite a bit of food, especially when we make it with some kind of tacos. Yes, do I use some music gear question about VSTs, or basically like music instruments or effects that go inside the computer. Main ones I use, well, for guitar, I use an Axe-Fx 2, so that's hardware, so that's not VST, but I use a lot of VSTs kind of in the effects chain of that. I made my own impulse responses for it. I use Nexus 2 for especially the Hollywood stuff. Like it's a really good kind of strings and orchestral things going on with Nexus. I like Omnisphere a lot. I like the East-West stuff a lot. So those are kind of the main things for effects. I use a lot of wave stuff. I really like, I guess waves might be, I like a lot of waves and Steven Slate stuff. I mean, I guess that is the majority of it. So I'm gonna take some of this jackfruit and we're gonna go ahead and saute it. So if you're just coming in, I've said that the main aspects of jackfruit, or the main thing that you have to do with jackfruit is you have to boil it out of the can. You drain the can water, you boil it for about an hour, then drain the water. It'll turn kind of pink, and then boil it again for about an hour in some water. And then you get this. This is the pre-boiled jackfruit. Let me get some more light on that. And the whole purpose of all that boiling is so that you can take a little piece of this jackfruit. Let me grab a little piece of this off. You can take a little bit of this jackfruit and taste it. And it's not gonna taste like absolutely nothing, but you want it to taste really neutral. If when you taste it like that, you go, oh, that had a really tangy, weird, nasty taste, then it needs to be boiled again. Some packaged brands are more neutral than the canned brands that I found, but even the packaged brands that I found that are like vacuum sealed, oftentimes at least need one boiling cycle. So if you get absolutely nothing from this otherwise, know that when you make jackfruit, before you actually cook it, well, before you saute it or do things with it, that you have to be able to taste it, and you have to go, okay, that tastes pretty neutral. That's pretty. It shouldn't taste offensive. It should taste fine. It's not going to taste amazing. It's just going to taste like not much. So that's the main state that you want to get it to. Greetings from Buenos Aires, eating some lentil stew. Lentil stew is amazing. It's fast, it's cheap, it's good. You can put up a pot of lentils before you start your workout. If you do home workouts like I do now, then by the time you're done with your workout, you'll have a giant pot of lentil stew, and it'll be awesome. Cannabis taco recipes coming soon. No cannabis for me. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I think it helps a lot of people. It does. I mean, I've seen tons of people being able to sleep much better and do all sorts of other things and just enjoy their life more in California. But I don't partake in any of the substances anymore. I used to drink and smoke pot, but stopped doing that quite some time ago. I'd love to find a replicate tofurkey deli slices. The Adore are really able to get it because it's expensive. Jackfruit with liquid smoke. I mean, you can do a lot with jackfruit. It's not going to make a tofurkey deli slice sort of thing. You can add it to seitan to give it sort of a stringy texture. You can try mixing around with stuff, but more of seitan mixtures are going to give you the more meaty slices, and then you'd have to have sort of a way to slice the seitan really thin. So what all I'm doing right now is I'm sauteing this in some canola oil, and I'm just breaking it up. So we're breaking up all the pieces. We're just gonna saute it for a while until it looks somewhat cooked, although it's not going to change its look that much. Do you have a vegan cure for hangover? Yeah, don't drink water and or drink water and don't drink so much. TVP is one way to keep veganism cheap. Yeah, absolutely. TVP is incredibly cheap. Even at specialty stores, it's like between $2 and $3, and for a whole little pouch, that makes a whole lot. You're my hero. Thank you so much. Have you ever had eggplant bacon? I did it once at a vegan potluck. Yeah, eggplant bacon is quite good. You can sort of baconize almost anything. Well, not almost, or not anything, but you can baconize many things. And we'll cover that later on, but I have a baconized recipe, of course, in the Satanic Spellbook, in the vegan meat section at the end. Do I eat a lot of lentils? Happy Life says. Yes, I do actually. I really like lentils. Actually, let me grab some off. So right here, I've got some masoor dal. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Kind of orange lentils. I really like split peas a lot as well. They're slightly less earthen flavored than lentils. Let's see if I have some split peas right here. Yeah, here's some green split peas. They're super cheap. It's a really good way to, and they're really good. I mean, not only they're cheap, they're good. So I mean, the purpose of eating cheaply isn't to eat a bunch of crap. It's to eat really good, but still keeping it really cheap. because that's what people think veganism isn't, and it is. It absolutely is. It absolutely can be very cheap. I mean, you can also get your $10, $15 juices and shots of whatever, but if that's what you like, then do it. Go for it. There's an NFL player that follows on Twitter that wanted advice to go plant-based. So, advice to go plant-based. The first thing to me is that veganism doesn't require any struggle at all. Like, I don't struggle to when I think of things to eat. I'm not always struggling against eating meat or eating dairy or other things in my mind. And the way to kind of get rid of that struggle is, if you are not vegan at the time, then as you're about to eat a meal, kind of look at the meal and with consciousness, kind of think of all of exactly what the animal went through to provide you with its flesh on the plate, or with its secretions or byproducts or whatever. Just seriously think and reflect upon like the life of the animal and try to kind of follow it in your mind. And after doing that a few times and seeing the horridness of it, then you're not going to want it anymore. So it's no struggle because you don't even want to partake in these things. So yeah, so that's sort of the first bit of advice. The second bit of advice I would say is to eat lots of good food. And if you're stumped on how to make it yourself, because in the beginning, it's a huge change. The hardest part about going vegan is not finding delicious food. It's the social conditioning behind it. But it's a big change. So liberate yourself to either spend a few bucks on going out to eat during a little bit more during that transition phase, so that you can get inspiration on things that you can make yourself and you'll be well paid for it later, because at least with cooked vegan diets, it's really cheap. I mean, this stuff is just ridiculously cheap. This is 2 cans of jackfruit right here, and we're gonna make a whole lot of taco meat, so to speak. Let me put it up so you can see it a little bit better. Do you have to take the seeds out of the jackfruit? Or is that only fresh jackfruit? So the seeds, you can take the seeds out if you want. Sometimes I take a few of the seeds out while it's boiling, if I see the seeds going on or not. Don't take so many of them out. They are edible. They have a little bit stronger of a taste than the other bits of the jackfruit, but in most cases, you can leave most of the seeds in. This is most of the seeds. Here's a seed. They're not hard. They're going to be edible, and they'll be fine with this. What? It's hard to keep up with some of the comments, but we're about drinking after kombucha. Cosmic Leviathan says, happy life, you can't, as is described, when your gut is healthier, you actually fart more from positive gut bacteria. I guess I do fart a decent amount. It means that things are working in there. What are some of your favorite bands? Kind of talked about this a little bit the other day, but I mean, of course, some of my like the obvious bands that I get the most influence from are Dimmu Borgir, Immortal, Emperor. Kind of some of the great classics like those. I'm a huge thrash fan. I grew up listening to Metallica, Pantera, Slayer, Anthrax. And then, I mean, but just such a huge variety of different things. I mean, recently I've been on a Wolves in the Throne Room and Merker kick ever since they came around and played live, and that was just an amazing show. One new, band that is new to me, they're not a new band, that I've been getting into is it's called Kampfar, and it's pretty awesome, sort of folky, but yeah, sort of, I guess folky black metal. I'm huge. I really like Wardruna, which isn't really metal, but but sort of Viking folk music, but with people that that's people from Gorgoroth. Do I like Drudka? I haven't heard them, so I'll have to check that out. Turn on the AC here. Just got into Wolves in the Throne Room. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Any thoughts about the new Nine Inch Nails album? I haven't heard it. I haven't heard the new Nine Inch Nails album. I haven't heard the new Immortal album yet, which I really have to check that out. I do like Nine Inch Nails, but ever since kind of With Teeth, it's just not been really my thing. So unless he's kind of gone back to another era, then it's kind of fallen off my radar a little bit. But I mean, Nine Inch Nails is a legend. I'm not gonna talk crap about him. Okay, lots of votes up for Drudka. Is that how you pronounce it? Favorite movie? I'm not a huge movie buff. Can I recommend one? I don't know. I just saw the Avengers movie, the Avengers Infinity War. I know I'm really late on that. I'm really late on seeing movies in general. But Avengers Infinity War, it was fine. People get punched in the face. What more do you want from a Marvel movie? I mean, non-stop face punching. That's, spoiler alert, people get punched in the face. Dark Funeral, yeah, Dark Funeral is solid. I saw them live not too long ago. They're really good. Or was that Dark Tranquility? I might be thinking of. I might have gotten too confused. My bad. But okay, so we're sautéing around the sautéed jackfruit. And it's starting to, you can see a little bit, maybe, that it's starting to change a little bit of color. I get some light on that. Maybe that's too bright. Can't tell with my laptop. Can't tell with what you see. And we're gonna go ahead and add our spices in a moment. So we have the jackfruit boiling here, and by the end of this live stream, it'll be ready for the first dump out of the water. And so you'll see that the water sometimes is a little bit reddish or a little bit pinkish, and that's good. That's getting out all the tangy, briny jackfruit taste that is terrible. So again, the main concept here with the vegan meats is I like to saute them, whether it's seitan, jackfruit, tofu. I like to saute it for a significant amount of time, not because it's going to be dangerous to eat otherwise, but just because it's that gives you sort of the maximum taste, maximum flavor. Christina says, are you really a professional chef? I teach vegan cooking on TV and around the world with of course, with the Vegan Black Metal Chef program. I do not cook anywhere. And I guess and everything is sort of self-taught. So I don't even know where you could go to school to find out these concepts and these things that you learn. I mean, none of this required any knife skill. You can't cut the taste into food. And yeah, so whatever pretentious chefery that people want to claim. When you lived in Orlando, what were some of your favorite spots to eat? Did you ever check out Ethos or Dandelion? I absolutely love Orlando. So I've lived in Los Angeles for about 2 years now, a little more than 2 years. And I lived in Orlando for, I guess, like 14, 15, 16 years before that. I can't exactly remember. But yeah, Ethos is amazing. Dandelion is amazing. I don't know if they still do it, but Dandelion during the weekdays used to be able to go get $5 giant plate of vegan nachos for $5 at Dandelion. Amazing vegan queso cheese sauce that was homemade, and it was just, I mean, Dandelion was absolutely awesome. They had like 4 or 5 different ways to sell you like some chili on stuff, which was great. I mean, their chili was fantastic, and especially for $5. I mean, just get $5 for a giant plate of nachos, go walk around the lake, and it rules. Actually, I mean, Orlando is really awesome for all the reasons no one knows or cares about. It has nothing to do with Disney. Death for the win. Yes, the band Death is amazing. I've used some of your concepts to make portobello mushrooms tacos this way. Hell yeah, definitely. Best spice for taco meat substitute is cumin. Makes things taste just like tacos for sure. So let's go ahead and start spicing it. So let's start with some cumin. And there's no exact quantities, just get some on there. And this is just like the Ultimate Nachos and Tacos episode that I'm using with jackfruit instead of I think I used Boca Patties then when they used to sell them at Sam's Club, which was awesome, but I don't think they do that anymore, which sucks. We're gonna go with some Creole seasoning. So we're just gonna get some stuff in there. You can use whatever you want. I mean, there's a million different ways to make this taste good. Get some Creole seasoning. Now the jackfruit is incredibly neutral right now and doesn't really have much of a taste, so we have to really provide almost all the flavor in here. Strapping Young Glad, yeah, that's they were awesome. Oh my fucking god, was great. Going to any shows anytime soon? I'm trying to think of what the next show lineup is. I mean, there was just kind of a huge string of shows. It's just, I think the last show I was at was Satyricon, and it was okay. That was the one that Inquisition has been thrown off of because of, I guess it came up that the singer had like a pedophile or like a child porn charge or something like that. Like, check the facts on that. But yeah, it's crazy, which sucks. Just gonna add some adobo. And add some onion powder. Gonna add some garlic powder, which is one thing that it's kind of crazy in this day and age with all the information. Is what are your thoughts on this? Because sometimes to me, you have to separate the musician from the music. I mean, and I'm gonna add some Italian seasoning, just a little bit, just Just throw some in there. For the salt with this, I'm gonna add some soy sauce, just a little bit of soy sauce. Not too much. And yeah, I mean, so yeah, in one sense, you don't want to support terrible people doing anything, which really sucks. But then, I mean, lots of music. Oh, let me go ahead and. But lots of musicians and lots of music out there was made by people that have done some pretty questionable things. So, do we have to? Should we not listen to music because the people are terrible? Talk about that a little bit. We got this, so this is where I would typically add some vegetable broth. And in this case, I'm gonna use this Sazon Goya. It's really cheap. You can get it on the Hispanic or Latino aisle of many grocery stores in the United States. I've seen it all over the world as well. I don't care what you use. You can use some vegetable broth. You can use some powdered vegetable broth. Just gonna throw some of this in here, 1 packet. Get some sriracha in there. And I gotta stir it before it burns. Talking and cooking is different than just cooking. So I'll get some sriracha in there and let's stir this all up. Hopefully it hasn't. So what do you all think? I can respect the art and separate the rest. Art trumps all. That is definitely a valid point. Ever use Tapatio pepper sauce? Yeah, I really like Tapatio. It's I had only first had it when I moved to Los Angeles. I had never really seen it in Florida. I'm sure it was there, but it's much more popular out here. I do like it. You can use whatever you want. I've got some Peruvian ají sauce as well. You can use whatever. Saute those spices. Now here's another concept from the Nachos and Tacos episode. We got the spices sauteing around. Now to even everything, to kind of smooth out all the spices and kind of get them evenly distributed, we're gonna add some water. And then we're gonna boil this water away and dry out the jackfruit again. So we're gonna add some water and it's just gonna be boiled away. But it's looking pretty awesome. It's got a really nice color. What's up from Chicago? Chicago is amazing. One of the few places in the US that still has giant-sized portions of food, which are incredible. I swear things used to be bigger, but maybe I was just smaller. If you're a fan of their music already, their action should have no effect on your enjoyment, but if the musician is a piece of crap, I can see you not being interested in ever giving it a try. Yeah, so we were talking a little bit about should we separate the artist from the art? And because sometimes musicians, a lot of artists in general, do a lot of terrible things. I mean, you can even say that the most wholesome pop artist in the world that comes out on stage with a leather jacket, leather shoes, leather pants is the exact same thing as putting a cow's head on a stick in front of the stage. So just one is more obvious than the other, but in the same sense, both are really the same thing. Why does any spicy heat I add to jackfruit get amplified extra super hot? Workout supermodel says. So if something becomes super spicy hot, you can actually counteract that by adding some oil. Oil kind of kills spiciness. So maybe just make things a little bit more oily, and if you're making it too spicy. But it shouldn't, the jackfruit itself is not going to amplify the heat in any way. Is that my music in the background? Yes, it is. That's the music that I make for the Vegan Black Metal Chef episodes. I hand play all the music except for the drums, which I program because I'm not that good at drums. And not that good at the other instruments either, but I'm even worse at drums. So let's go ahead and take a look real quick with a good camera, see what this looks like. So it's starting to become an awesome color that is looking far better than on the GoPro. But so we're just going to boil all that water away and then saute it a little bit more, and then it's done. Bing Crosby did that beautiful Christmas song with Bowie, but I have trouble fully enjoying it because I can't help picturing Bing Crosby. Wow, I did not know that. The only reason I'm not saying other things because I'm not sure what people get sued for libel or whatever, but I guess y'all can write whatever you want in the comments. But yeah, exactly. It's a crazy thing. So, and musicians are just people. They're not perfect people. We all have our flaws and terribleness. And yeah, it's totally just it's a judgment call whether you want to go there or not. Talk about art. What are your thoughts on the late great food artist Anthony Bourdain? So of course I have mixed feelings about Anthony Bourdain. In one sense, he said a lot of terrible things about vegans and veganism. Didn't really care too much about it. In another sense, he had me on one of his episodes, and they said he was a fan. And I never met him personally, so I don't know him personally. He was a guy, like he was a person. Every person's gonna have their aspects that you're gonna like and don't like about him. It really sucks that depression and things took over. That's a really crappy place for anyone when they feel like their life is so terrible that it's not worth living. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really say much publicly about it because what's there to say? There's a lot of mixed feelings on it. He did say a lot of terrible things about vegans and veganism. Didn't care about animals one bit, it seemed. But at the same time, I guess I don't wish that kind of horrid unhappiness on anyone. But what can you say? What can you do? There's not much more to say about it. Can you start a band, please? Thank you, Abdul. I appreciate it. I have my other regular music project called Forever Dawn. I used to play out live with that a significant amount of time ago. I'm working on the second album to that now, and yeah, kind of getting over my own stuff about trying to increase music production and make everything sound perfect and things like that. Maybe perfection is not something that one can achieve. Maybe you just have to get stuff out there and just make it happen, and then whatever it is, that's what it is. But that's been my main resistance to my own art. You get too emotionally invested in it, and that's what happens. This is almost getting done here. The water is nearly evaporated. So he's probably more mad at extremist vegans that want to kill people for killing animals, and he just didn't see animals as equal. But that's the fight we all have to keep fighting, to be being nonviolent protesters. Yeah, that's a good point. Could you date someone who wasn't vegan? Christina asks. So I wanted to have a whole live stream topic about dating, because it's a weird topic, especially if it revolves around people seeing the world in almost incredibly different ways. So I have dated many non-vegans before, and I'm dating now. I'm single and dating around now. And I would say that over the years, in the beginning, I didn't really care so much. Now it's definitely to the point where, since the reason for dating for me now is more to find like a life partner, someone to really share a ton of things with in life, and not just see each other lightly and not be that serious. It's a weird thing, because in one sense, some people say, oh, like date non-vegans and then try to make them vegans. But I don't honestly, I don't try to make anyone vegan, especially even in a relationship, because if you kind of impose it upon them, then they'll just resent you for it later on. It'll feel like you're just trying to be controlling and resentful. But I mean, if you just live your life and make awesome food, and they see that vegan stuff is awesome, then they usually have a change of heart about it in general. And so I don't like, but then in another sense, I'm kind of tired of dealing with it. Kind of tired of dealing with the discussions that come up. Of course, food is a big part of relationships and people's lives. You have to do it a few times a day, typically. And so, yeah, it feels weird when the person that you're dating and like or love is essentially paying for a tortured animal piece or secretion. And that's sort of how a lot of vegans see the world, and myself included, even though you can sort of, we're gonna get off into a whole tangent about other things. But even though I'm not angry at the world, it's a thing that, yeah, you just, it's always gonna be, it's never gonna be a thing that adds to the emotional bank account between you two. It's only going to subtract from it. So if you keep subtracting from your emotional bank account in a relationship, then one day there's just not going to be much there. Susan would date a vegan metalhead any day. Working supermodel said I'd never date a smoker. So yeah, similar thing. Two different sort of worldviews. I'd never I'd never date someone who identifies as a non-smoker. So yeah, so this is a whole topic in and of itself. Educating people on their health, as Cosmic Leviathan says, food is really important in a relationship, way to a person's heart. And yeah, so we'll have maybe a whole discussion on that. Maybe I could find some other sort of expert that I could bring on here that would know something more than I do, because yeah, I mean, I think I probably need some help in general, because I think the longest relationships that I've had been about 2.5 years. So I've never really had like a super long-term relationship. So that's my own thing to sort of work on. Okay, this is getting pretty done. Let's take a look at this. So now, as you see, we added some water to the spices and we evaporated the water. So the spices are really mixed in now and really smoothed out over the whole thing. It's not going to be granular or different pockets of spices. Let's go ahead and take a look over here. And yeah, you can, it might not come through on the camera so well, but you can tell that the water is a little bit pinkish. And that's what you want. That's that terrible brine flavor coming out of it. And I'm gonna dump this water, and then if I were to be making this to be prepared, I would fill this back up, boil it again, and dump the water again. So again, the main concept here, if you're just coming in, is you need to make the jackfruit taste really neutral. Tell us about your transition to veganism. So I guess maybe I'll make kind of a giant, a big Q&A video where I'll answer all this for all of the live streams to come. But basically, I had a girlfriend in high school. Put that back in focus. I had a girlfriend in high school and early college that had went vegetarian. And when she first went vegetarian, I said, well, I see that as the right way to go, but I'm not ready for that yet. So I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything at all. And then a year went by, and I kind of looked back at her and said, well, she didn't die. So really, what am I so afraid of? If I recognize that as the right way to go, then what am I so afraid of? Because she didn't die, nothing terrible happened to her. And so I couldn't live with this fear of nothing, this just conditioned fear in me. And so I went vegetarian, and then for about 2-3 months, then went to an animal rights group on campus at the University of Florida where I was going at the time. It's called Animal Activists of Alachua, and saw a few videos before the age of YouTube, and then said, okay, now I'm vegan. I couldn't see that stuff, and then and consciously say, yeah, no big deal here. I have no problem taking part of that. But I mean, everyone kind of has to come to consciousness with that, because I knew terrible things were happening before I went vegan, and it didn't stop me. I didn't care. I didn't care. That was like, I could make all the excuses in the world. I could say all the justifications in the world, but I didn't care. And that was the main step, is that all of a sudden you care. Work supermodel says I'm off the dating scene, but if I wanted to date, they need to be a music nerd. Yeah, I mean, that's music could be a huge part of your life if you're super into it. Reading the comments here. Took my fiance 3 years, but she did it. We're getting married in 3 weeks. That's awesome. Aglos. And was it difficult to start to replace meat from your daily food, or did you do it abruptly? Well, I would say that that the 2 or so months that I went vegetarian, it wasn't really that much different, because I just doubled down on the dairy, and was like, okay, wow, I'm just gonna eat all the dairy in the world, along with all sorts of other stuff. So for some reason, it didn't really feel that different. And then when I went vegan, yeah, it's like the first couple months take the most effort because you have to read labels of everything in the grocery store, and which is good. I mean, you become conscious about what you're eating and what's in the food. But yeah, you're gonna read a ton of labels. You might be confused about what to eat or need inspiration what to eat. Of course, in 2018, it's there's a whole lot more stuff out there than back in about 2000 to 2001 when I first started going vegan. There was some stuff, but not an incredible amount of stuff. And yeah, but it just starts with caring. Like it just starts with giving a damn. And that's once you've firmly solidified that, then everything else just kind of falls into place. Wheat and hemp protein seeds, they have all the essential fatty acids to make our brains and internal health system work. Yeah, not here to tell people what they should or shouldn't do, but you all can figure that out on your own. Okay, so we made some jackfruit taco meat here. Really easy. It's gonna be really good. Let me switch this over. I forgot to throw some green onions in it. We can toss some green onions in there and saute those around for just a moment. It's not gonna make or break it whether you put some green onions in there. It's just a personal preference if you like it or not. And yeah, Jose says, I had trouble dealing with my unknown cheese addiction. Yeah, cheese can be absolutely addictive. I guess it breaks down into or has a chemical called casomorphine that I guess keeps baby cows calm and acts on our opioid receptors. And some of us can become totally addicted as well. Another thing to be conscious of in our food. I hate addictions in general. I think my latest addiction that I have to overcome is the phone addiction. Just scrolling through things, just looking for some kind of satisfaction that's just not there. That the phone addiction is real. All right, let me go ahead and, well, I'll dump this out later. Let's go ahead and make some tacos. So ordinarily, I like, when I'm eating at home, either a crunchy taco shell or a tostada shell. Just toss in the oven. I really like, I did get these other corn tortilla shells here. For some reason, store-bought taco shells, they hurt my stomach. And it's not the gluten or anything. I mean, I cure gluten and it's no problem, but for some reason, store-bought taco shells, I'll give these a try as well, although I don't remember if these hurt or not. But store-bought taco shells, for some reason, the soft ones, they just hurt my stomach. I love fresh taco shells. I love if you freshly make them from masa or fresh flour tortillas. But yeah, store-bought tortillas, they hurt my stomach. So for some reason, the hard shell ones do not. So I usually eat them. But otherwise it's a crappy feeling. Videos are awesome. Thanks a ton, Wendy. Appreciate it. So right now, I'm just going to heat up a couple of these taco shells. Probably could have started that a little bit ago, but we're just gonna heat up a couple of these taco shells, or these corn tortillas, and then I'll heat up a couple of these tostada shells in a moment. But you've seen the secrets of jackfruit. To reiterate once again, if you're just coming in or you came in late, I use the young green jackfruit in brine in a can. And the main concept here is to get them very neutral tasting. So we're going to dump out the canned water and I'm going to boil the jackfruit pieces for about an hour and then dump the jackfruit water. And then reboil them again for about an hour. And then they're ready to use. Then they'll taste really neutral and they'll be ready to use. Heating up some of these corn tortillas. Heat up a tostada shell or two. And any other questions before we just hang out and eat about the stuff? We'll eat for a little bit, and then I got to get headed on out. Do not have a playlist with the songs that sound. I'm gonna assume, Alan, that you're talking about the background music. And that's the music that I make with the Vegan Black Metal Chef episodes. So you can get those on Bandcamp with without the lyrics. veganblackmetalchef.com, and the audio tab has the links to it. Or you can find them on Bandcamp. You can find it on Spotify or on all the Apple Music or all their places that you can find music. And flip these one more time. They're toasting up nicely. When can we expect a second cookbook? So, of course, talk about the Satanic Spellbook, and will there be a follow-up? There might be a follow-up sometime in the future. In the meantime, one aspect of the Satanic Spellbook is that at the end of each section, which is called the Oracle of Inspiration, at the end of each section, there's a little QR code there, and you can scan that, and it will bring up. I keep adding videos to the book. I keep adding recipes. I keep adding videos. So the Oracle of Inspiration section teaches you how to make additional dishes based on concepts that you learn throughout the section. And so I keep adding to it. The main purpose of that was so that I mean, I don't like cookbooks that you just come out with a million of them each time. It's sort of the same thing over and over again. If the concept is already there, then I really just want to add to it. So as of right now, that's all that's in the plans. There will be a second edition. The first edition is nearing being sold out. I've got not so many books left, maybe less than a pallet of books left. And eventually there will be a second edition, but it will just be adding on a little bit more. Do I work out? Yes, yes I do. Maybe I'll make some videos about workout stuff. I used to go to workout, I don't know, maybe 3 to 5 times a week, depending on the week. And I used to go to a gym, but now I do home workouts because there's no normal people's gyms around here. It's all kind of boutique-y, fancy things in Echo Park where I live. And it's not like a Planet Fitness or a $10 a cheap gym. Am I from the Scorpio sign? No, I'm an Aquarius. My moon is in Scorpio. For anyone that cares about astrology. Aries rising. And I mean, I don't care that much about astrology. I don't care that much about other religion and things. They're fun, but I don't know. But at the same time, I think I'm the stereotypical Aquarius. So there's something kind of interesting about that. Am I obsessed with food? Most vegans that I meet are. Lisa says. Am I obsessed with food? I don't know. I like to eat good food. Obsessed with food. I don't know. I don't run around freaking out about it, but I do really like to eat good food. So yeah, lots of vegans really like to eat really good food. So let me go ahead and transfer this over here a little bit so I can switch to eating mode. And I'll find some slicker way to do this throughout the rest of the episodes, but for now, I will probably do. My place here is very cozy, so all of my tables fold out from the wall, and it's small. It's a small place. So my tables fold out from the wall. Try not to crush everything there. Hopefully I can get this to stand up. And it looks like we've lost the main thing, main video. Let me switch out the battery, see if that fixes it. And we're back on. Cool. Do you have a day job or is this a full-time thing? It's sort of a mixture. I do a lot of little gig works. I don't have a steady day job, as one would say. It's a mixture of book sales and live events, and I'm getting into acting here, into background acting. And let me just grab some vegan taco meat, the jackfruit taco meat, and make some of these. Getting into background acting, or I've been doing some background acting, getting into acting stuff in general. And so I used to do audio work. I mean, I've had almost every job in the world, it feels like. I've been everything from a 6th grade science teacher to working at a call center, to being a neurofeedback technician in a neurofeedback lab. And so I've had a lot of jobs. All right, maybe that'll sort of work. Why not do a pop-up cafe? That's good. That might be a thing here in the future, especially as LA decriminalizes street vending. That's going to be an interesting thing. To maybe be a street vendor some of the days. That would be kind of cool. Not only decriminalizes, but make it happen. Have you ever thought of forming a vegan black metal band? Yeah, I've got my own project called Forever Dawn that you can find on Spotify and on YouTube Music and other things. And that will be playing out again sometime in the semi-near future. I'm working on the second album to that now. And basically, once I make something really good, then I'll feel good about playing it out. So let's go ahead and cut open some avocado. Not the absolute ripest avocado, but it's all right. And I burned my tostada shell, so I was thinking that. Put another one in. You should have your own TV show. Thank you. Taco Truck, Jackfruit tacos for everyone. Yeah, maybe start Taco Truck or some kind of little pop-up. I don't want more variety than tacos. I mean, I like tacos. I mean, tacos are absolutely fantastic. LA has a lot of tacos, and I think I would want to add more variety to the Los Angeles world than another taco. Although tacos are really good. So we got some cilantro on there, some avocado. Are there any good ways to cook avocado? Every time I've tried, it doesn't taste so great. You know what? I have no idea. I don't think I've really tried to cook avocados. They're so damn good, just as is, that I don't think I've ever tried to cook them. Kind of like lettuce. Like, I don't really cook too much lettuce in the world. Food Network could use a vegan chef show. I agree. I've actually had some meetings with Food Network people. They seem to think that their audience is older than what my demographic would be, but maybe it'll happen in the future. Gonna throw some ahi sauce on here, and like a loaded baked potato. I guess I missed some of the conversation. All right, so let's go ahead and try this. It's a good taco. It's Jackfruit taco. Really good, super flavorful. I could even add maybe some oil to it a little bit to smooth out some of the spiciness. I did add quite a lot of sriracha in there, but it's good. So yeah, thanks a ton for coming on out for the second live stream. I'm gonna be doing this a whole lot more. I'm going to have different guests on and to talk about different topics, and maybe I'll make a sort of a general Q&A. So in the comments here or in the comments on the replay, if you have any questions for that general Q&A video, like what's your favorite band, I'll talk about that again in just a giant video of general Q&A. And yeah, thanks a ton for coming out, and I'll see y'all next time.